Have you ever wondered what happens when home is no longer a safe place? Not because of war, but because the very ground beneath your feet, the air you breathe, and the water you drink have turned against you. This isn't a scene from a sci-fi movie. It's the reality for millions of people right now, and it's a future that awaits millions more. We're talking about the climate crisis, but from an angle we often overlook: the massive human migration it's causing and the conflicts that can follow. Let's start with a simple fact. The World Bank estimates that by 2050, without urgent climate and development action, over 216 million people could be forced to move within their own countries due to climate change impacts. Think about that number. That's more than the entire population of Brazil. These aren't just statistics. They are farmers whose lands have turned to dust, families whose homes have been washed away by floods, and entire communities whose islands are slowly disappearing beneath the waves. So, where are these people going? The patterns are complex, but we can see some clear trends. People often move from rural areas, where livelihoods are directly tied to the land, to urban centers. A farmer in the Sahel region of Africa, facing relentless drought, might have no choice but to seek work in a crowded city like Lagos or Dakar. A fishing community in the Mekong Delta, seeing their catch disappear due to saltwater intrusion, might migrate to Ho Chi Minh City. This rapid, often unplanned urbanization puts immense strain on city infrastructure: housing, water, sanitation, and jobs. But it's not just about moving to the nearest big city. We're also seeing cross-border movements, although on a smaller scale for now. People from Central America's dry corridor, where crop failures have become chronic, are journeying north. In the Pacific, the idea of relocating entire nations, like Kiribati or Tuvalu, is no longer a hypothetical discussion. These movements aren't just a simple A to B journey. They are often desperate, dangerous, and fraught with uncertainty. People who are forced to move because of the climate are often called climate refugees. But here's a crucial point. This term isn't officially recognized under international law. The 1951 Refugee Convention protects people fleeing persecution. It doesn't cover those fleeing a hurricane or a drought. This leaves millions in a legal gray area without clear rights or protections. This brings us to the humanitarian response. When a super typhoon hits the Philippines or a massive flood inundates Pakistan, the immediate response is heroic. Aid agencies, governments, and everyday people rush in with food, water, and shelter. But this emergency response is like putting a bandage on a gaping wound. It's essential, but it doesn't address the long-term problem. What happens after the news cameras leave? Families are left in temporary camps for months, even years. Children miss out on education. People lose their sense of community and purpose. The psychological toll is immense. The real challenge is shifting from a reactive emergency model to a proactive long-term strategy. This means investing in climate adaptation before disaster strikes. It means building seawalls, but it also means diversifying local economies so a single drought doesn't wipe out everyone's income. It means developing drought-resistant crops and better water management systems. It also means planning for migration. Instead of waiting for a chaotic exodus, we need to create safe, legal pathways for people to move with dignity. This concept is called planned relocation, or migration with dignity. It's incredibly complex, involving everything from land rights in new locations to preserving the cultural heritage of the community that's moving. It's a solution of last resort, but for some, it's the only one left. Now let's talk about the most volatile part of this equation: conflict. When resources become scarce, tensions rise. It's a story as old as humanity. Imagine two farming communities that have shared a water source for generations. Now, a prolonged drought shrinks that source to a trickle. Suddenly, these neighbors can become rivals. We are already seeing this play out. In the Lake Chad region of Africa, the lake has shrunk by 90% since the 1960s due to climate change and overuse. This has devastated the livelihoods of fishermen and farmers, fueling competition over the remaining water and land. It creates a fertile ground for extremist groups to recruit desperate and jobless young people, turning an environmental crisis into a security crisis. It's not just about direct competition for resources. The arrival of a large number of migrants into a new area can also strain social cohesion. The host community might feel that their resources, jobs, and culture are under threat, leading to resentment and xenophobia. Politicians can exploit these fears for their own gain, further polarizing society. This doesn't mean migration automatically leads to conflict. In many cases, host communities have shown incredible generosity. But when systems are already stressed, when there's not enough to go around, the risk of conflict escalates significantly. It's a domino effect. A changing climate leads to resource scarcity, which forces migration, which can, if not managed well, ignite social tension and conflict. So what can we do? This problem is huge, but it's not hopeless. The solutions are as interconnected as the problem itself. First and foremost, we must aggressively cut greenhouse gas emissions. This is the root cause. Every fraction of a degree of warming we prevent saves lives and livelihoods and reduces the pressure to migrate. This is a global responsibility, and it falls heaviest on the nations that have contributed most to the problem. Second, we must massively increase funding for climate adaptation in vulnerable countries. This isn't charity. It's a strategic investment in global stability. Helping a community build resilient infrastructure and sustainable livelihoods is far more effective and humane than dealing with a humanitarian crisis and a potential conflict down the line. Third, we need to reform our international legal frameworks to recognize and protect climate migrants. We need a system that provides legal pathways, ensures their rights are respected, and shares the responsibility for supporting them more equitably among nations. And finally, on a personal level, we need to change the narrative. When we see people on the move, we shouldn't see them as a threat, but as human beings in search of safety, just as we would be in their situation. We can support organizations that work on the front lines of climate adaptation and refugee assistance. We can demand that our leaders take this issue seriously, not as a distant future problem, but as the urgent crisis it is. The story of the 21st century will be a story of movement. How we manage that movement will define our shared humanity. Will we build walls, or will we build bridges? Will we let fear and scarcity divide us, or will we find the wisdom and compassion to face this challenge together? The choice is ours, and the clock is ticking. Thank you so much for watching and for taking the time to understand this complex issue. If this conversation resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and share this video to help spread awareness. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep this important conversation going. See you next time.